A few weeks ago, I watched Project Hail Mary after I broke my toe. Not the best circumstances, but definitely the right movie.
Science teacher Rylan Grace wakes up on a spaceship with no recollection of who he is or how he got there. As his memory slowly returns, he soon discovers he must solve the riddle behind a mysterious substance that's causing the sun to die out. As details of the mission unravel, he calls on his scientific training and sheer ingenuity, but he may not have to do it alone.
At least that's what Google said. Anyways, I was inspired. Like, immediately inspired. So I decided to recreate one of its key visuals. But then came the obvious question: how?
From what I could find, Greg Fraser worked on this. They avoided green screens almost entirely, which means, most likely, they relied heavily on LED volumes. Now, technically, you could replicate that at home by putting an astronaut cutout in front of a screen, like a fake mini volume setup.
But I'm not doing that. We are going fully digital. Everything inside Blender. In my first live session, I ended up with this. It's fine, but fine isn't the goal. So I tried again. Let's start with the Hail Mary shoot. Now, you can download the model online or you can model it yourself. Obviously, I chose to model my own. And of course, it is available to download for free. Then came Tau Ceti E, also known as Adrian. This was painful to say the least. My first attempt? Not so great. If you want to watch me struggle in real time, that's available on my channel. But here's the simplified breakdown.
A base surface layer, a cloud layer, an atmospheric volume layer, and an aurora layer. For my version, I used a Mars-like texture for the surface, Earth-style clouds, and then built the atmosphere using noise and volume emission. The aurora? That's a separate setup. You can check the linked video for that. Now you have got the ship, you've got a planet. What's missing? The astronaut. You can model it yourself or do what I did.
Now for the interesting part, the astro page.
To create this practically, Ryan Gosling was surrounded by infrared emitting light strips, and Fraser modified the camera by removing the infrared filter to capture that glow.
So, how do we create that in Blender? Surprisingly, it's not that complicated.
Start with a cube. This will be your domain. Then add a sphere. Stretch it slightly. Make it imperfect. That's a rastrophage. Switch to cycles. Give it an emission shader. Push it into red. Now this is where most people stop. Don't. Add a noise texture. Drive it through a color ramp. Crush the contrast. Then refine it. Power node sharpens the intensity and multiply node boosts the brightness. Push it hard. Around 1K to 2K works well. Now it starts to feel alive. Next, particles. Apply a particle system to the cube. Set emission to volume. Increase count. Increase lifetime. Kill the gravity. Lower the velocity. Render as object. Select your sphere astrophage. Then randomize the scale. Push it to 1. Now they don't feel cloned, they feel organic. In the camera properties, turn on depth of field. Drop the f-stop low to something like 0.5 to 0.2. This is critical because without it, the entire effect looks flat. Finally, compositing. Use the glare node. I set the streak angle to 90 degrees. That mimics the lens flare that Fraser used. Add a bit of blur if needed. Dial it in. Now that's your base look. Not final, but convincing enough to build upon.
Then from here it's just iteration.
Place your models. Adjust lighting. Use area lights or plane with emission if needed. The space background? That's from a tutorial linked below.
At this point, you should have everything you need to start building your own scene. That's it. Now, go make that space animation that you've been putting off. I'm moving on to my next project based on the